There we go. I'll give everybody a minute to click that button. So placing my hands on my heart and taking in that breath of love and gratitude. A deep, cleansing, healing breath. Centering into that heart space where peace abides always. We're so grateful to be able to come together today in this format of Zoom and to be able to hold space and share space with and for each other. We're grateful for our deep willingness, our willingness to remain open-hearted and open-minded, and our desire and dedication to shining away any and all blocks to love, our desire and dedication to not just understanding A Course in Miracles, but actually learning how to live it, to apply it to our lives, and knowing that even if and when we think that we're not getting it right, that it's perfect for our learning, that it's all for our good. We're grateful to call on all of our earthly and heavenly helpers to surround and support us, to lead us, to guide us, to bless us, to bless the technology we get to use to come together, to bless all those who are here and all who may listen later, to allow us to be open and receptive to receive those blessings and know that we are worthy of the all good of God. And we're grateful to share that worthiness, all of those blessings and the love that we are with everyone because we are one with them. In grace and gratitude, we let it be. And so it is. Amen. So we are in chapter 27, section 7, the dreamer of the dream. And I have to admit, when I first started reading this morning, I was having some challenges. I don't know, like my mind felt a little bit like a pinball machine. It just might have been the energy or the, the space that was going on. But I did finally get through the whole thing and had some great expansion happening in my mind. So I'm just going to start us with paragraph 1 of The Dreamer of the Dream. Suffering is an emphasis upon all that the world has done to injure you. Here is the world's demented version of salvation clearly shown. Like to a dream of punishment, in which the dreamer is unconscious of what brought on the attack against himself. He sees himself attacked unjustly and by something not himself. He is the victim of this something else, a thing outside of himself, for which he has no reason to be held responsible. He must be innocent because he knows not what he does, but what is done to him. Yet is his own attack upon himself apparent still, for it is he who bears the suffering and cannot escape because its source is seen outside of himself. And what I wrote down here is every time I believe that I am separate, I suffer. And that the suffering is actually my divine alarm clock prompting me to come back to God, to my right-mindedness. So that is when and how I can be grateful for the crap, for what I am calling the crap, the things that I am judging as not good. So that's where I'm starting us off. Anybody else like to share on that paragraph or on something else that they learned from the paragraph or this week associated with it? Carol.
If you just look in the next paragraph, I almost feel like the answer is right there. It says, now you're being shown you can escape. All that is needed is you look upon the problem as it is. And I kind of take that to mean with no judgment and not the way that you have set it up, which means the meaning we made of it. We make a meaning of the problem. Oh, so-and-so must have done that, or this happened because of that. And we go on and we complicate whatever it is with our dialogue or our narrative. And if we don't do that and just neutrally look at whatever it is that we need to pay attention to help ourselves get beyond it, then if we don't judge it, if we don't claim it, name it, label it, and make a thing out of it, then we can escape. It says we can escape. How could there be another way to solve a problem that is very simple, but we make it complex? So to our separated mind, it's not simple. It's very involved. Maybe there's a lot of people in it. Maybe there's this long drawn out story and whatever. But this is telling us don't do that. Just look at it as it is, neutrally with no judgment. But it has been obscured by heavy clouds of complication. That there, I just said that, which were made to keep the problem unresolved. And, you know, there's a lot of people that, a lot of us, I guess, at some point, we almost thrive on the complication. Our separated minds make such a thing out of it. And it just becomes this big thing that truly it isn't. But we do it. We make it that. We create that. And then it says, without the clouds, the problem will emerge in all its primitive simplicity. The choice will not be difficult because the problem is absurd when clearly seen with a neutral eye and mind. No one has difficulty making up his mind to let a simple problem be resolved if it is seen as hurting him, and also very easily removed. And it's a habit we need to work on. Really seeing, am I making this, where is this whole thing coming from? Did I make all this story up? Did I make it have a meaning that never was really attached to it and wasn't really a part of it? And so it's, again, untraining and training our mind. Untraining from the world, which complicates everything and lays blame, to just acknowledging, okay, this is what happened. This is the situation. And if we get back to our oneness, truly, it's quite simple, just the way it said it. So I kind of think this whole thing was summed up in those two paragraphs very nicely, because that's the deal. We're the dreamer of the dream. We make it what it is, and we have the ability and the power to dissolve it and to make it really the nothing that it probably is. So thanks.
Yeah,
I love this.
Girl.
I love this. I loved reading this whole thing.
Yeah, and I really felt like, and I could see in a situation that I had in my own life this week, how addicted the ego mind is to drama. And what came to my mind is like how many reality television shows are on TV right now, and why they're so popular is because there's so much drama, and really it's all based on nothing. It's all based on nothing, but there's like people throwing things at each other, and people, swearing and cursing at each other, and people yelling at each other. And it must be that people are addicted to it, or there wouldn't be. I mean, it's like when we look at the TV schedule at night, my husband and I like to, just watch about an hour or so of TV before I go to bed after Jeopardy. And,
Yeah.
you know, you go up and down the list. It's like, this is reality TV. This is reality TV. This is reality TV. And it's all based on the drama of their personalities.
And it isn't reality. That's the thing. It's not reality.
I know. It's drama.
It's all fake.
Made
It's
up
all
drama.
fake.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carol. So Hamira and then Carla and then Grace.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much, Carol, for pointing out the problem and then pointing out the answer. I had to read this several times. It's pretty thick, but it's so good, right? And, you know, what I came to is like, I don't even realize how guilty I feel from the idea that I've separated myself from my source. And every turn that I take, I'm trying to project some of that guilt out there. And as I'm holding the knife myself, I just keep pointing the finger. It's out there, it's out there. And meanwhile, not recognizing as I do that, the first hit that I get is myself. And so what stood out to me were paragraphs 3 and 4. It says, the reasoning by which the world is made, on which it rests, by which it is maintained, is simply this: you are the cause of what I do. It's kind of funny even when you read that. You are the cause of what I do. Your presence justifies my wrath, and you exist and think apart from me. While you attack, I must be innocent, and what I suffer from is your attack. No one who looks upon this so-called reasoning exactly as it is could fail to see it does not follow, and it makes no sense. Yet it seems sensible because it looks as if the world were hurting you. And so it seems that there is no need to go beyond the obvious in terms of cause. We just kind of stop before we even get to the answer. We just kind of take that for fact. When somewhere deep within, we know, that's really not the truth, but it's like, oh, I'm absolving myself, which I'm really not. And then in paragraph 4, where it says, line 6, vengeance must have a focus. Otherwise is the avenger's knife in his own hand and pointed to himself, and he must see it in another's hand if he could be but a victim of attack he did not choose. And thus he suffers from the wounds a knife he does not hold has made upon himself. And it's so clear, right? And yet in practice, in application, in my daily life, I find that there are people that I keep forgiving in my mind, but it comes back. Like I find that they're guilty. No, they're guilty. And it's amazing how the conditioning is so deep in this area that as much as mentally I may analytically understand this, that it hasn't yet traveled to my heart, or I'm not, or the part of me that is feeling separate doesn't want that, you know, wants to still feel like, oh, they're the guilty ones, I'm not. So I just also thought, wow, you know, I have done this kind of forgiving, and then why does it keep coming back? So if you have any ideas on that of it not coming back, please share it. Thank you.
Yeah, Hamira, I was just talking with my movement teacher and friend this morning about something similar. It's that sense that, like Buddha said, life is suffering. And the reason why life is suffering is because we ebb and flow like the tides or like the waves. We're one with God. We move away from God. We think we got this. Everything's going well. And then something pulls us back to, oh my gosh, everything is crap. You know, life is hard. This person's doing this to me. And then it's like, that's what brings us back to one with God. And so for me, that's what it seems like. As long as we are judging ourselves from moving with that ebb and flow of being one with, apart from, and then back to the thing that alarms us, that divine alarm clock that brings us back to our right-mindedness, as long as we are judging ourselves about that, we're going to keep, you know, and that's why the Buddhists, they're like, with the reincarnation thing, life is suffering and we keep reincarnating until we get that. Life is suffering. So is if we are not fighting against that suffering, if we are allowing ourselves to just be in that flow of give and take, where we're one with and we're not one with and we're separate. And, you know, I feel like that's when we can come to a place where we don't have to reincarnate anymore, because we finally have that V8 moment where we get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so beautiful, Linda. Thank you so much. It's like going with the judgment about not having it yet is what keeps you stuck in more and more of that place of non-forgiveness, or going back to that. And if I can just be gentle in the process of, you know, and just allow, and knowing that that's my divine alarm clock, and then I can do whatever is needed in that moment to get myself centered again, and just that, and no judgment about, oh, I'm here again, I'm still like angry, or that's what brings in the like enlightened state of mind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. And we keep forgetting that we are the ones that decided that this was going to be our experience in this life. And we can't remember why we would have decided that, especially in the moments when life is so freaking hard, right? Like, why in God's name would I choose this? But we did. And the sooner that we can let go of the idea that we did not choose this, even if we don't see the reason why we chose it, and again, just go with that flow of, okay, this is what I chose. It appears to suck right now, but I'm going to allow myself to feel into the suck, to feel into whatever emotions are coming up during the suck, and just allow myself to, you know, go down that river. Right now, the river appears to have a lot of crap in it, and then it'll clear up and it'll be crystal clear and beautiful and pristine water again. Carla.
Okay, this is what I remember. So I want to address why reality shows seem so popular. My sense is there's so much drama on it that when people look at it and they go, oh, my life is so much better. It's so much better. So that's why they're so popular, because it reinforces that belief, like, oh, I'm okay. They're fucked up, you know? Okay. And so it's paragraph 7, but I don't know. I don't have it. Oh, it just went. Yeah, done. Okay. I don't know. I have numbers, so I don't know. But it goes, this is how all illusions came about. Now, there is only truth, right? And they talk about it somewhere, I don't have it down, but where it's not just us, it's like everybody is working together. We're all part of the one mind. And so this is the key, Homer, here, I think, to your question, like, how can I stop this from coming into You can't stop it. You can only choose to stop choosing it as truth. We're all part of one mind. It's going to come in. There are plenty of people out there who believe the illusion, believe the upset, believe the whatever, the grievance, whatever it is. It's going to come into your mind. You have to recognize it for what it is, illusion, and choose. And so you said the VA moment is like every moment, Linda. It's every moment, because there's only now, right? So it's now's a VA moment, now's a VA moment, now's a VA moment. It's every moment. And so that's what I know this, I know a lot of truth. But I do get caught up in the feeling and forget this, the divine alarm clock talking to my body, telling me something, but I digress. So says, this is how all illusions come about. I think it's 6 or 7, I'm not sure. This is how all illusions came about. The one who makes them does not see himself as making them, and the reality does not depend upon him. That's the most, because what you said is right. How I didn't make this, but the key is, who are you identifying with? Not you, Linda, did not make that. Linda was not part of that decision to come into this life, right? And experience this, whatever it is. And this has been the hardest thing for me, to realize, to stand in this truth. Now, I'll say it a little. I got a phone call. I said, look, everything is helpful. Now, what I choose may not be the most loving choice. It's okay. Choices are just choices until we decide, something decides they should have been different. Then they become judgments. We chose, we did suddenly, and let go of it. As we talk about that a lot in the course, letting go of it. So this is the key. In step 1, stage 1, whatever it is, in the development of trust, it's about learning that everything is helpful in some way. In some way, even if it's like how not to do it, it's helpful to, and showing us, man, I don't do that again. But I know this, and it's a little bit different. I've kind of changed a little bit from what everything. If everything is helpful, not everything is the highest and best, but this I know is true. Everything we choose is used by God, by the oneness, by love or whatever, to bring about the highest and best. And I don't have it here, but let's see if I can remember it. What if my thinking blocks the highest and best from coming to me? We're blocking truth by believing illusion. And it seems like I know this, I do know it, but I don't always live it. I don't always live it. It's easy, it's not easy, it's helpful to know truth, but to choose it every moment. That's the challenging thing. That's why we're all here. It says, I'm going to read something from The Way of Mastery, right? Beloved friends, the world you look upon is not real. It has never been real. It will never be real. But it is a creation that can be impregnated with the perfect love of God. Remember always, there's only love. And it says, or fear, but there really is only love, but if you don't choose it. So what is not love can only be fear. And that is never justified. I'll read one more paragraph. The world that you made is thoroughly harmless. The world that you experience, which is the world that you made, this is where I get it. It's the world that you experience, which is the world you made in conjunction with others. The oneness. In any given moment offers you the opportunity to choose to impregnate it with love or to allow it to reflect to you your own fearful thoughts. you're not limited at any time. And in you, all power under heaven and earth is given. So I'm gonna do one more thing to do a commercial. That I have a way of mastery group that Carol comes to. Samir comes to sometimes on I have to look, Tuesday. When is that, Carol? I think
4:45 Eastern. 4:45 to 6:15 Eastern time.
Yeah. So if you're interested, I know it's not as convoluted as the course. It's like, it seems like there's a lot of double negatives and it's much more focused.
But it does parallel the course, and that actually reinforces what we are learning today. The way of mastery says it very similarly because it's channeled exactly the same as the course is. So there's a familiar feel to it when we're reading it. So because it comes at it a little bit differently, it actually reinforces the concepts and the perspective of the course and the
What day is that?
It's today. It's Tuesdays at 4:45 Eastern time till 6:15. It's an hour and a half. And of course, if you can't come exactly at 4:45, you come when you can come. But it's a lovely small little group. It's only maybe 4 or 5 or 6 people most of the time. And it's very intimate. And so it gives us a chance really to express ourselves, ask the questions, go into whatever depth we want to. And sometimes we go off on tangents too, but that's all part of it. No, it's a
really
lovely
about,
group.
it's part of it is about bringing up your own beliefs or resistance or illusion. Seems so, it's just, whatever it is, it's not about any one thing. But if you're interested, I can put the link in the WhatsApp and you can come. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no charge, and it doesn't matter if you have the book or not. We read from the book, although we don't get too far in sections, maybe a section each week. But I just wanted to share that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, thanks, Carla. Yeah, everything you said, yes.
Yeah.
Grace, go ahead, and then Nancy Gail.
Thanks, Carla, for that. Yeah, I dreamt up for myself a pretty scary life. I had an awful lot in my childhood, and then a husband who was not on his best behavior, and parents who continued to do their behavior until their 80s, a breakup of my own personal family through divorce, things with my children. I had a lot. And of course, you know, at that point, I didn't realize what that was all about, but I'm very lucky that I've been doing the course for quite a while. And I managed to change the way I think about people, about my family. And even this year, I decided I'm going to be even nicer to my ex-husband than I have been. I've always been okay, but I decided I need to cross that bridge to seeing him as just the same as me, you know, which means I'm going to be warm and friendly instead of just tolerating him. So I managed to make that leap this year. And I don't have challenges in my life anymore. It's very peaceful. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm also very lucky in that I'm on my own and I only have a little bit of work to do. So I can give a couple of days here and there, like I've done this weekend, to just immersing myself in spirit, just turning everything off. And it is my main goal is to live the life of spirit and not be sucked into the world. So that could be shopping, TV, can be anything that's not reinforcing the fact that I am one with everybody and I'm spirit. And so I had a couple of days this week where I just, those thoughts still come into my mind. You know, I don't know if they're attack thoughts, but they're definitely sort of separation thoughts. And I don't think I stop them, but what I do is I just replace them with, I listen to Audible, and a couple of books I've been reading this week is The Pathway of Roses and Never Forget to Laugh. And if I keep filling my mind with better stuff, the other old stuff doesn't have any room in there. And in The Pathway of Roses, Dr. Christian Larson talks about letting life flow through you. And then if you resist something, oh, you know, whatever it is, okay, the Canadians today at the border, disrupting life. I went onto the New York Times app and I saw what the Canadians doing, and I had this funny little twinge inside, like, oh, that's so disruptive. Well, it's an attack thought. And so I remembered, just let it flow through you, don't stop it. It's got to go through your body and mind and come out. Don't give it any time. Don't give it any attention. It's a dream. And so I actually opened the app to the New York Times to do the puzzles at the bottom. But I scan the headlines as I go through. And I saw that, yes, you know, Mr. Trump's followers have been funding the Canadians. Oh, so then that little twinge inside grew a little bit bigger, and I had to let that flow through me. It doesn't matter. You know, it's not my contribution to this situation is love. So I let it flow through me and got straight onto the crossword. Thank you.
Victory, Grace. Victory.
99%, I would say. There's just that little twinge that I've got to, you know, practice.
Absolutely.
And you know, I mean, the most important thing is the loving of ourselves. Like I love all you guys like crazy. My friend phoned me yesterday and she goes, I got her reading the Course in Miracles lessons. And she's like, I can't do the lessons, you know, I don't have, you know, I didn't spend 20 minutes here. And I'm going, it doesn't matter, that's crap. All you have to do is look through it, let it wash over you. And whatever you do, just go, good job, Karen. Fantastic, way to go. That's all you have to do. That's the biggest lesson of the lessons.
Yeah. And you know, that always reminds me, it brings me back to, I think it was Matt Kahn, it's another spiritual teacher, who said that, you know, when we come to the end of our lives and we're sitting in the theater watching our life go by before us, and we're going to have our hands on the railing at the balcony going, oh, that was so cool. Can we watch it again? Because each moment is going to be like just watching a flower burst open. Oh, that was so cool. Let's rewind it and watch it again. So yeah, let's just celebrate ourselves right here, right now.
Yes. By saying, I love you all.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Thank you, Grace. Nancy Gale.
Well, see, being a visual person now, I've got all this stuff. So you guys are so cool. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Linda. Okay, thank you, Carol. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing okay. All right. I was watching, I forget, some TV program. They were, it was like a gardening or something like that. And they were walking through this this area. And it's a beautiful place, and everything is, it's like in up, you know, in hills and mountains, and there's, you know, the hills and stuff, and it's clear, you can see it for miles and miles, and how beautiful it is. And then he said, but when the clouds come in, and the mist, it tends to get like really thick, you can only see 10 or 15 feet ahead of you. So you can't see all of the beauty because of the mist, the cloud, right? And I was thinking, it's in here somewhere. All of the garbage stuff, this world stuff, when we're focused totally on that, and that's what's consuming all of our attention, distracting us. That's like the cloud. It's just like so dense. All those complicated things and all those thoughts are so dense. They're like the mist, the cloud. And it says, because love's the whole point, the love's presence is there. It's here. It's all around. But our thinking, those thoughts, is the cloud. And the purpose of the course, it says, is to remove the blocks to the presence of love. So push away the clouds, those thoughts, because the love's right there, but we can't see it. Wait a minute. What did you just say? The other thing you just said. What was the last thing you said, Grace? The last idea, I forgot. That was another.
Letting life flow through you without stopping the flow with resistance.
Yeah, it must be all together. It's all flowed into one major thing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nancy Gale. You know, I have to talk about too, when I come to this group on Tuesdays, and I am so grateful that I was intelligent enough before I got here to put y'all in this life. So yeah, I'm grateful that we all agreed to that. That's really cool. But I also have to acknowledge that I set up like my Tuesday. By the time I get to come to you, I'm pretty scrubbed clean. Because I have this 8 o'clock journaling group where I can journal, I can chant, I can, you know, whatever. You know, that's how I start my day, where I can do half hour of spiritual practice quietly with a few other folks. And then after that, I read our section for the day. And then I have a half hour yoga class. And then I get to eat my oatmeal with blueberries or whatever. And then I get to come and sit in front of you. So that by the time I'm here on Tuesdays, I'm feeling pretty good. Like I've had those scrubbing bubbles flowing through me all morning long to get the yuckiness out. But like on Sunday, I didn't have as many scrubbing bubbles. We don't have our journaling group at 8 in the morning. And, you know, I did my meditation and my daily lesson. But then I had some work to do for the ministry. And I knew that my son and his girlfriend were coming over to watch Super Bowl with us. And so I was busy doing that. And so I wasn't completely scrubbed that morning. And somebody that I love dearly, but I get triggered by occasionally. And I'm grateful that this person is in my life because it really shows me where my work is still to do. But they started texting me these questions that other people could be answering. And so I sent an answer that kind of expressed like who else could also be helping them that would be more available. And then I stopped reading the texts that were coming in, but I didn't really stop. Like I saw, like when the text came through, like the first line. And so the first line said that they were doing something else. And what my interpretation of it was, without reading it, was they were doing something else. And so they wanted me to do the thing that I had let them know that they could do to find the answers that they were looking for, which irritated the crap out of me. And then the next text that came through was a question about how am I doing and how is Lucky doing, my other cat, since Tigger's passing. And my drama queen ego self, I didn't read the whole thing again. I just read like what I could see in the little blurb as it came through the text, because I had made my mind up. I'm not going to read these texts. I'm busy doing other things. Right. And I was not my shiniest self, which is okay because I get to learn. And my ego mind was making up, and this person thinks that they can get into my good graces after asking me all those questions when I'm on, it's a day that I'm busy doing other things. And they're just, following up with pretending that they're concerned about me and my other cat after Tigger's passing. And I'm like, holy crap, the story that my ego mind made up. And so the next day I actually read the text that I said, I'm not going to read those texts because this is not, I'm busy doing other things. And what the person actually said was that they were doing something else, but they would do what I had asked them to do or told them that they could do to find the answers they were looking for after they were home and could do it. And then went on to ask how I was doing, how my other cat Lucky was doing. And I'm like, yeah, you totally made that into something completely different. And the other thing that I learned was because in the past, and I mean like a few days ago, my body appears to react as my divine alarm clock by giving me symptoms of IBS, which can be really humiliating. It's not something that you want to talk about to anyone, even your doctors, because it's not pleasant. And I thought, it's humiliating. It's humiliating to have those symptoms. It's humiliating to have to talk to a doctor about those symptoms. And what I was lacking in that moment was humility. When I was feeling like, my day is too busy that I can't answer these simple questions at this time. And I was lacking humility in that moment. And I was not feeling one with God. I was feeling crappy, which is perfect for when you're dealing with IBS, because that's one of the symptoms. And I thought also about how interesting it is that was also the stuff that I had been dealing with all week after Tigger's passing, was the little droplets of liquid feces that were all over my house. It's like we leave these little droplets of our own crappy thinking all over the place. And we can judge them, or we can look at them like, this is an opportunity for me to clean this up and to really look good and hard at where in my life can I clean this up. And when I was able to do that, I was able to see the blessings and the miracles. And one of the things that came to me that I was talking to my son about when they were here on Sunday was how amazing it was that Spirit guided me, like way back in September, October last year, this place that I order carpets from occasionally was having this big sale. And so I bought these 2 area rugs I did not need. I had no idea. But when we got rid of those carpets that Tigger had crapped all over the place, there was grace because I already had carpets that I could replace them with. So I didn't have to look at that bare floor and go and have that reminder, you know, that, oh my God, I had to get rid of those carpets because my poor cat's gone. So all I'm saying is that is when we are in our right mind, we can have those moments of grace to even the crappiest situations and literally crappiest situations to see the blessings when we're willing to do it. So yeah, Carla and then Nancy Gail. Thank you everybody for letting me share that.
Well, thank you. I just, what comes to my mind is not an Course in Miracles, but it's my own experience that I have one cat. It was really, we're so tight. So for 10 years, not a long time, it was only 10 years, but then, and I missed him and I left him and he died and I grieved and I realized what I was doing. I realized I was getting caught up in the fact that he was gone and that, I mean, I'm not talking about you, but I realized what I was doing. I was caught up in the misery and the judgment and the suffering and all that stuff. I had over a decade of beautiful time with him. He was a very loving cat and he taught me. And I'm feeling God to do this. I'm going to say this, that when I was 5, I had an experience with a yellow kitten that my father, it was just an experience, and I chose to, because how I interpreted it is that it was all my fault, and that I did not want to love anymore. So I closed my heart. That yellow cat that I got like 30 years later or more, I don't know, less, about opened my heart. So that was such a blessed time that I had that experience to help me. Experiences are not to hurt us, to as bad and wrong. They're not. Every experience is perfectly planned for our awakening. Now, we get to choose how we respond to it. And that in turn chooses the next experience, because the script is written that we navigate the script through our choices. And our choices create the next part of the script that is going to help us in some way. And so the mind, I say it's I, but really it's the ego mind, it's the ego thoughts, it's the illusion, it's something other than love, likes to offer me all the time meanings. Oh, this is that. And if that's his job, the ego's job was to help us. Oh, you better be careful when you go to the watering hole. There's saber-toothed tigers there last time, and it made you run and you lost one of your family or whatever, your dog or something. And it was there to help us. So if ego offers me a thought, now I don't do it real consistently, but I'm practicing life through this body's experience, because I am not just the body. I'm spirit. I am spirit. That's lesson 98 in the Course. I am spirit. We say, spirit gave me this, and I did it. The true me did it. The higher self did it. Whatever you want to call it. That part of me that realizes it's still one with God. the not the separate self, but the one who's real. So I do my best, and I'm practicing this too, to look at each situation, at each meaning the mind wants to give me, and see it's only helpful. It can only in some way be helpful. And if I judge it, I don't like it, or it should have been different, or then I stop that helpfulness. I'm not interested in blocking my good anymore. That is self-love. And that self-love is what, not as meaning the mind gives you, but it feels that self-love is like an open door to, like what you said, Grace, to allow life to flow through us, to us and through us. And as I read, to impregnate every experience with love. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla. That was beautiful. Who else would like to share? Go ahead.
Oh, I remembered. No, I forgot again. When Grace was saying how I can't remember exactly, but the point, the thought is, or that realization is, which has been happening to me, especially, like, I'm using my brother because he's the most obvious example. When I see him, like he is like me, we are with who he truly is, the Christ, the Son of the child of God. When I have that, because you only have one thought in your head at a time, or your mind. When I have that thought in my mind, all of the other stuff, there's no room, like she said, there's no room for anything else, because can only have one thought. So and then it's like doing that enough. It's like, I didn't even have to do that a lot, but I don't think, whenever I think of him, I only think of him as the Christ, as the Son of God. And all of that other stuff seems to have disappeared, which I've held for like decades and decades. It's just gone. It's gone. And the other, which is just totally amazing to me, which I love. I mean, it's really great. It's like, I don't feel icky or sick, or I don't feel any of that yucky stuff anymore. But when I think of him, I just have that thought. It's really nice. And the other thing, Jennifer said something the other day about that you can't heal. If you don't love yourself, you can't heal. Without self-love, there's no healing. Oh, I heard her say that the other day. That's the only two things I can remember. I'm done. Thanks. Oh, wait a minute. My intention, my goal this year, like I had last year, I wanted clear and concise communication, which I did pretty good with. And I don't tell my story anymore. Once in a while, I'll relate whatever I'm saying to it, but that's a totally different thing. Anyway, and so this year, what I said, well, I was successful, and then I did the release and clear before that. You remember? That was so. This year, my goal is acceptance, forgiveness, and self-love. And of course, accepting myself and forgiving myself, which is accepting means acknowledging, and forgiveness means releasing. Those are my operating definitions of those two words, because, the old type definitions of those words are like totally, put up a wall. And then self-love. And so they're all related. But that's my thing for this year. And it's like, yes. But anyway, I'm done.
Thank you, Nancy Gale. What a beautiful gift to give yourself this year. Amira, and then Carla.
Well, first, Linda, I just want to say I love you so much. I love that you share from the heart and you're so vulnerable with us. It just helps me so much. And you just help me open my heart more and more and more. And I just want to express how much I truly love you. Thank you. Thank you for being such a light for all of us. And I'm called to read this paragraph, I think, to kind of, since we're almost at the end of our session, paragraph 15. Dream softly of your sinless brother who unites with you in holy innocence. And from this dream, the Lord of heaven will himself awaken his beloved son. Dream of your brother's kindnesses instead of dwelling in your dreams on his mistakes. Select his thoughtfulness to dream about instead of counting up the hurts he gave. Forgive him his illusions and give thanks to him for all the helpfulness he gave. And do not brush aside his many gifts because he is not perfect in your dreams. He represents his Father, whom you see as offering both life and death to you. Brother, he gives but life. Yet what you see as gifts your brother offers represents the gifts your dream your Father gives to you. Let all your brother's gifts be seen in light of charity and kindnesses offered you. And let no pain disturb your dream of deep appreciation for his gifts to you.
Yeah, thank you, Amira. Yeah. Our brothers are our salvation. Says it every time. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, I just want to close out with a poem that I wrote like 2 years ago. I feel something to read it. It's called I Am Enough. I am enough. I receive enough. I offer enough. I'm connected to self, true self, enough. I love enough. I pray enough. I'm grateful enough. I bless, and I bless myself enough. I learn enough, and I learn fast enough. I welcome new experiences enough. I forgive, and I forgive myself enough. I know I am love enough. So I am enough. You are enough. And I know we have always been enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carla. Thank you, everybody. I love you so much. And you truly are my answered prayer. So yeah, just thank you all for being here and agreeing to come and do this. We are remaining in chapter 27, section 8, the hero of the dream. And I wonder who that will be. So I'm going to read Pathways of Light. Insights from my lesson today, which is number 46, God is the love in which I forgive. In yesterday's lesson, we practiced moving through the clouds with the Holy Spirit and coming to the light that we all are. I have the choice to focus on the clouds and stay there, or to move through the clouds. When I am willing to move through the clouds, then I am always brought to the light. In the light is peace and understanding. The light holds no grievances. The light remembers that the clouds are illusions of separation and are not real. Forgiveness does not mean sacrifice or being a doormat, but forgiveness comes from letting go of what is not real, letting go of separation. Forgiveness is letting go of separation. In the world of separation, there will always be grievances. There will always be differences, distinctions that are without end. With forgiveness, I take every cloud to the Holy Spirit and ask to see it differently. I ask to be brought to the love that is behind the barrier, the cloud. The Holy Spirit is awesome at dissolving the clouds. It makes things that seem so complicated, so simple. Love is the answer. Love is what is real. Simple, uncomplicated love brings the peace of God. Today, I am willing to practice moving through the clouds and find the love that is always there. God is the love in which I forgive. God is the love in which I forgive myself. Myself is the one that I really need to forgive. My response to my ego when it tells me I must do this or I must do that in order to be worthy of God is the love in which I forgive myself. The self that's always been there needs no forgiveness. But what I really need to understand is that the ego is nothing and is not me. And therefore I need no forgiveness because I have never been condemned. Only the ego condemns and is condemned. So God is the love in which I find forgiveness, in which my heart can begin to open again and again and again to love and clarity and benevolence and peace and joy. As I allow today's idea to sink into my heart, what stands out to me is the importance of defining the motive behind my forgiveness. Am I forgiving out of fear or am I forgiving out of love? Honestly, true forgiveness can only be in love. As I look upon my life, I notice the times I pretended to forgive. I forgave out of obligation and always with expectations. I forgave someone because I believed it is the only way the relationship could work. I forgave someone because maybe they will love me more. I will be more accepted, or maybe they will change. This expectation was always a sign that the attempt of forgiveness was incomplete. When I truly step into a space of true forgiveness, then I can forgive without obligation. Accepting this is the same as accepting what my brother cannot truly hurt, that my brother cannot truly hurt me. Then I find myself in a space in which I am truly loving my brother. Forgiveness is allowing the love to flow. If I am in a situation that is a call for love, then forgiveness isn't an obligation. It is an opportunity for joy. I can say to myself, I do not want to limit my life and decide what this situation is for. That's what got me here in the first place. Now I decide to let the miracles in. Forgiving my brother means I don't fear anyone can hurt me. I have the freedom to be whole, and I can do so simply by allowing the love to show me what anything is for. Much of my life, I lived with the doormat syndrome. I felt a need to express what I believed to be true. I would hold back because I thought it might not be accepted by others. This pattern has brought me great discomfort over the years and kept me in situations that weren't healthy. If Jesus had had this attitude, we wouldn't have A Course in Miracles. Clearly, much of what is written in the book is rejected by much of the world, and probably parts of it by most of the students who read it. If I am unwilling to express what others might disagree with, then I am limiting my willingness to follow Holy Spirit's lead. This does not mean I go around confronting people and telling them where they are wrong. But if I have a predisposition not to make waves, then I will not be open to Spirit's guidance that may lead me on a path less traveled. All this comes out of fear of condemnation. Today's lesson tells me that God never condemned me. It also tells me that all condemnation is self-condemnation. So this fear of condemnation is fear of my own condemnation. That is why I need to forgive myself. That is why I need to accept that God is the love in which I forgive. If I have condemned myself, I can't look to my little self as the means to forgive. But I do have the means, and it is God. Gratitude fills my heart along with what it comes great relief. Along with it comes great relief. I am not alone. God is with me. It is his love that helps me let go of my self-condemnation. It is his message through his voice that teaches me I am innocent and the world is innocent. There is nothing to fear because condemnation is not real. It is just an ego ploy to make illusions seem immutable. Yet that is an oxymoron. God is the only love in which I forgive is another way of saying I am blessed as a son of God. This lesson asks us to think of those we need to forgive. They suggest that anyone we do not like would be a suitable subject. I can think of a couple people who fit that category, but I find the ones I most need to forgive are the people closest to me. It is the sense of betrayal that you can only experience with someone you care about that is the hardest to forgive. I understand that I cannot be betrayed. I understand that no one has actually done anything to me. I understand that I am projecting all this stuff onto them, but my understanding is still mostly intellectual. The truth is, I still have many special relationships, and I expect those people I have designated as special to live up to certain expectations. When they don't, I feel hurt and betrayed. Writing this out and looking at it like this, I can see what I am doing to myself. I can also see how forgiving them is really all about forgiving myself. I have taken some pretty big steps in this direction. I see pretty clearly what I am doing. I know that I want to do this differently. This is important to me. I look forward to spending today taking another step forward as I accept healing in this area of my life. How wonderfully lucky I am to have this course. And how wonderfully lucky we are to have this course and each other. So thank you all so very much for being here, being a part of this life experience with me, even if you are only illusions in my mind. What beautiful illusions you are.
Linda, thank you for bringing us together.
Yeah, amen. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I will see you all soon. Much love.